Welcome to Common Man Cocktails. I'm Derek. We're going to make for you a strawberry basil margarita. Now, maybe it's early for some people for margaritas. I don't know. I'm a big fan of tequila, especially as spring hits. So having basil, having the strawberries, especially now that they're kind of in season, I think is a great idea. On top of which, Cinco de Mayo is around the corner, so that's usually an excuse to drink tequila or mezcal. You can replace this with mezcal if you'd like mezcal better. So here's the recipe. It's a 2 3/4 3/4, similar to a 2-1-1 golden ratio. In this case, we get this. Normally, you're balancing the like a 2-1-1. You're going to do 2 ounces of spirit, 1 ounce of sugar, 1 ounce of sour. This is going to be 3/4 3/4, so it's going to allow the tequila to rise a little bit. However, in this case, the 3/4, it's going to be 3/4 of lime against 3/4 of orange liqueur with a 1/2 ounce of simple syrup. The 1/2 ounce of simple syrup kind of replaces your agave, and it brings a little orange kind of front and center, and leaves the kind of the agave nuances of agave syrups or agave nectars out. This is going to be a little bit sweeter over the longer taste of the drink versus more of that upfront sharp sweetness. 3 strawberries, 4 to 5 leaves of basil. We're going to muddle them together. So you're going to need a muddler. If you don't have a muddler, you can go to AwesomeDrinks.com or shop.awesomedrinks.com, which is my website. You can get yourself a muddler, but while you're there, you just get the whole bartender starter kit. Comes with a muddler anyway, and a jigger and all that stuff, and a shaker. You get it. It's a kit. Also, we sell these, and you are probably going to want one of these. This is a conical strainer, but we're going to do a double strain where we're going to use the standard strainer to keep back the ice, but a lot of the particulates, especially if you muddle too aggressively, some of the basil may tear and rip, and you don't want the basil floating around in the drink, primarily because most people just don't like it. It gets stuck in their teeth. It's an awkward taste profile. We're going to start by muddling. I'm muddling this side, it's a little smaller. We're going to muddle the simple syrup, the lime, into the basil and the strawberries. Oh, wow. Got a lot of lime out of that one little lime. 'Tis the season. Yay, finally. Okay. 3/4 of your lime. 1/2 ounce. Also, you're going to find, you might not taste it specifically, but simple syrup draws out a lot of flavor. It's kind of like it's a great extraction of flavor if you're not using pure alcohol. Alcohol will bring out the flavor quick, but sugar will also be able to draw out some of those flavor notes. It's just it adds sweetness to it, which in this case is what we want. Pull your strawberries so you don't have the little white pithy stuff inside of there. Let's do garnishes today. Why not? That'll be a garnish. I'm just going to throw these 4 basil leaves in here. Got our muddler. Muddle this up. And when you're muddling, you don't want to tear and go all crazy. What you want to do is press out all the flavors. Strawberries is not so bad. Interesting side note, the strawberry is actually the stuff on the outside of that flesh. But really, the moderation here isn't because you're worried about crushing the strawberries as much as you're just worried about breaking the basil up. Basil is very vibrant, so you don't have to like get real super crazy when you're muddling it. You just want to press it to be able to like break the cell walls of the leaves so that they let out their beautiful juices. There we go. Also, the double strain will keep your strawberry bits from floating in your drink. And nobody wants strawberry bits floating in the drink. 3/4 ounce of our orange liqueur. You can use your favorite. I don't even know this. What do I got here? This is Jacquin's triple sec. This is one of those nice solid like $6 numbers. If you want to kind of upscale it, the Pierre Ferrand dry curacao is really nice. That's going to be like $24 versus a $6 bottle. In this case, I'm purposely using the $6 bottle because I want a little bit of that zesty orange sweetness to come through more than just the dry orange like essence coming through. Springtime, you want to really enjoy the vibrancy and the sweetness. 2 ounces. In this case, I'm using use your favorite, yada yada. It's a Blanco. You can go Repo if you want to, but in this drink, considering the fruits and the basils, and you want to let some of that shine, the Blanco kind of tamps down on some of that more aged tequila taste. This is Siete Leguas, the original Patron before Patron decided to go create their own product and get shitty. So this stuff is fantastic. Best Blanco you can get for probably $45, $50, I think. I don't know. It's not cheap, but it's fantastic. And fantastic is where it's at. Ice. We're going to ice our glass. Boom. We're going to give this a hard, aggressive shake. Get it nice and cold. Probably going to take 15, 20 seconds. But I would go aggressive on this to enforce some of that integration of the basil. And especially if you didn't muddle it enough, this will get the stone, so that the ice is going to help break that up a little bit. Here we go. And you definitely got a lot of strawberry bits in here, so the double strain will come in handy. Double strain. And this one's going to take a while. The biggest problem with drinks like this, when you're starting to muddle, especially strawberries and things that could clog up your strainer, is if you're building out, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 of these for friends. They're like, is my drink ready yet? And you're like, but bro, I'm still trying to get it to go through the siphon here. Still a lot of drink in there. You just got to find it. But it's all worth it in the end. And I have done drinks like this at parties, and people are like, you get some level of credibility, if you will, because people see it and they're like, wow, this is complicated, and look at how hard they're working at it. And then you have the other people like, dude, is my drink ready yet? This, my friends, is a Strawberry Basil Margarita. Could also call it a smash. Hold on. Snap that right in there. Oh, there we go. Now that, my friends, that is the margarita. This is the Strawberry Basil Margarita right there with the garnishes and stuff. Just to get in your way when you're taking a sip. Definitely one of the big fears I had. It's really not a big fear. I probably over-exaggerating and adding some drama that doesn't need to be there. But strawberries can be very weak sometimes, especially at the beginning of the season. Even when they show themselves as bright red, they don't have a lot of flavor. This, however, has a great amount of flavor. It has almost like that strawberry flavor of a strawberry daiquiri, but not nearly as sweet as what you get in a strawberry daiquiri, even though lime is usually added to a strawberry daiquiri. Otherwise, it's going to be over sweet. This drink has a little bit more subtle dryness. I believe that's probably because the sugar being used is lighter. We've only got a half ounce of sugar. And orange liqueur, while it is a sweetening liqueur, it's not as sweet as just dumping in 3/4 ounce of simple syrup or even agave nectar. The tequila's there, kind of mid-center, starts out with a little bit of that strawberry, goes right into that nice, lovely Siete Leguas flavor. It does lose a little bit of that saltiness, so you could probably salt the rim if you wanted to. Sometimes you get some inherent saltiness from the tequila. That's kind of lost in here when you bring in the basil and the strawberries, because it ends with a little tart basil punch. And overall, throughout the drink, you get that subtle basil, but it's not overly done, which can also be an issue because basil is super vibrant. So if you used more, 6 or so leaves, you might end up with something that tastes. It might end up being too much like a pasta or like a sauce or a lasagna over that of a margarita. And when I'm looking at lasagna or margarita, two separate things. When I'm sitting at the pool, less lasagna, more margarita. So much more interesting than just your basic margarita. Basic margaritas are great for the 90-degree weather. That'll be coming. So appreciate the spring flavors while you have them before you get into the intensity of summer. That's it, my friends. Remember, Bartender Starter Kit is at shop.awesomedrinks.com. Check it out. Go make yourself a basil and a strawberry margarita. Oh, and happy Cinco de Mayo. I'll teach you how to drink.